Last week I was at a seminar down with CMHC at Laguna Station going over what you see behind me, the 2018 Housing Market Outlook for Hamilton Burlington. A week later, here we are with a video where I'm going to give you all the information that we got from that seminar that we think you might be interested in. So let's start off with our first slide. Why the slowdown in MLS sales last year? So we think that it's a good idea to take a step back, look at 2017, what happened there, before we can really get a good forecast on what's going to happen in 2018. So in 2017, we see quarter one, quarter two, and quarter three. And we can see here that in the first quarter, we had 18% above average sales when compared to the last 5-year average. Now take a look at quarter two. We saw a really sharp change in sales. Remember what happened in the second quarter of 2017? Well, it was the Fair Housing Plan that changed the entire market. Their idea was that they wanted to cool the market, and they definitely succeeded with that plan. Now, if we take a look at quarter three, the trend just continued that much more. We see sales down 22% over that 5-year range. These were figures that we hadn't seen in a very, very long time. So definitely a slowdown. Let's go to the next slide. So with this slide here, we're now looking at the other side of the coin. We just talked about sales. Now let's talk about listings. Well, when you look at quarter one, you can see that the listings are down 8% over the 5-year average. Well, when listings are down, we know that there's going to be more interest in the properties that are still currently on the market, creating a very strong seller's market that we saw in quarter one of 2017. Now, if you compare that to quarter two, after the Fair Housing Plan came into effect, we saw listings skyrocket to 17% above that 5-year average. And then we really started to see those changes in the sales. Quarter three, the trend just continued with listings being up over the last 5 years. So in this slide, we really get to look at how supply and demand really play into the equation. If you look here, quarter one, 94% of the seasonally adjusted sales to new listings ratios. The demand for listings was incredibly high, being 94%. Now, if we look at quarter two, we saw that really drop. Now in quarter three, 59%. So what that means is that we're moved into a balanced market. So what are the biggest risks that we see to the Hamilton-Burlington real estate market? Well, a lot of our success and strength in this market has come by means of people moving out of the GTA to the Hamilton area. And because of that, our markets are very closely linked when it comes to price. If Toronto's prices go up, our prices go up. If Toronto prices go down, we see the result of that as well. And you can see here that Hamilton-Burlington, our prices range between 28 to 33% less than Toronto's prices. Now, since this report included Hamilton and Burlington, the prices between Hamilton and Burlington, they vary as well. So this number here, 28%, is probably more towards the Burlington side difference, and the 33% being more towards the Hamilton side. So we can really see that it's closely linked together. So in what regions of our market were the slowest in quarter three? Well, this illustration behind us shows it well, that Burlington, Flamborough and Waterdown, Dundas and Ancaster all saw the sharpest downturn in sales when we saw those changes come into effect. This largely could be due to the fact that these are the most expensive areas in our board. Whereas we take a look then at downtown areas, right? We see Hamilton East only at -6%, Stony Creek the same thing. So other areas that were cheaper, they continued along with less of an interruption in the number of sales than the other areas. So let's take a look at our next slide. So this, in the next few slides, we're going to start getting into what our predictions are for the 2018 Hamilton-Burlington real estate forecast. And here we see some good news, because the media can really play into this whole thing in a very negative light. But the truth is that in Hamilton, there's a lot of good things happening, especially in the employment forecast. And we can see here that job growth and jobs overall have been up over the 5-year average, with the exception of education. So when we have good jobs, when there's growth in these areas, it contributes to having a more stable real estate for the next year. So how many sales will happen in Hamilton Burlington in the year 2018? Well, these are the guesstimates, you could say, from CMHC that forecast. We had very strong sales. 2017 hasn't finished yet, so there's not an exact number that they can give us, but we are going to have between 13,500 to just over 14,000 sales in 2017, and they are expecting just a slight dip from that we might see a few percent less sales in 2018 versus 2017. And this does not signify a market crash. This is just bringing us back to normal numbers that we have seen over the last couple of years, and not what we saw early this last year. So along with the number of sales, which everyone always wants to know, another main thing is, what will the average price be? Are we going to see growth? Are we going to see a decline in the average price? Well, again, these numbers are only up until the third quarter of this year, which we just finished. But if you take a look at that, quarter 3 ended with 550,000 average sale price. Well, they are forecasting, CMHC, that we will see an average price range between $535,000 to $585,000. So they're leaving themselves a little bit of room here. They're not giving people an exact number, because there is always market conditions and things that happen that are beyond their control that could play into whether prices go up a little bit or whether they go down a little bit. But these are not terrible numbers by any means, that if prices only vary by a few percent on either side. So that is the market forecast when it comes to prices. So that wraps up our 2018 synopsis or summary of our CMHC forecast for 2018. We don't know exactly what will happen in 2018, but we do expect that things will continue along. We won't see any drastic changes. There are a few upcoming changes that will impact the housing market. That is yet to be seen with the new mortgage rules that will be coming into play January 1st, and we'll try our best to keep you updated on that as well. But if you have any questions, this is a very generic report for a very broad area. So if you're looking for more information on anything in particular, more of your area, then feel free, shoot us a line anytime, give us a call. We'll be happy to give you some more information particular to your neighborhood. Now, you may have left this video having more questions than when you actually started watching this video. So if you have any questions, again, those as well, feel free to forward them along our way. For you buyers out there, stay tuned for our next video, which will be about an upcoming buyer seminar, which we'll be hosting, and we'll have all kinds of information from a lawyer, a mortgage professional, a home inspector, and us to fully educate you on how to purchase a home either now or 2018. So feel free to watch that next video. We'll have links to ways that you could register and all that will be covered in those in that seminar. So stay tuned for that. But until next time, I'm Tyson Brando with RE/MAX Escarpment, the Brando Group. Talk to you later.